Yeah.
I given recording permissions to all of you.
Yeah. Sure.
The session.
Hello, Sudhir.
Yes. Hi, Shashina.
Are you recording it and putting in the YouTube, or it just?
I'll be recording. No, I'll be recording myself. At the same time, I'm giving recording permissions to all of you. Yeah, you can also record if you want. Otherwise, you can wait for me to upload the and YouTube. Fine. Okay. So can we move on then? Okay. So if you have any questions anytime, please unmute and talk to me. Or you can also put your question on the chat box. I'll be constantly looking the chat box. And we have Archana, Akramal, Rajiv, and Shashidhar. So you four are confirmed so far. Okay. So if anybody interested, they'll be joining. Otherwise, it is okay. We'll go on as we committed. Okay. As I told, if you look at any any training institutes or any individual trainer, first of all, finding a trainer who teach Cucumber itself is not so easy. Not everyone teach Cucumber. First thing, and second thing, if you go to any training institute, okay, so they charge $199. Okay, it is $200 upfront. They charge up. So I know many websites where they don't give any discount, or probably after the discount it comes as $200. Okay, so if you see that I'm just charging $5,000 rupees, that is not, I mean, that is around close to $70 or something. Okay, fine. Let's move on then. So you might require to take some notes. Okay, probably in your notepad, or I recommend you to take the notes on a notebook. But in case if you don't have today, please at least take it on the notepad. Okay, at least for today. So there are certain things you need to remember, and then we'll be move on to the practical sessions. So it is our regular class. I know all of you joined for the Cucumber demo class also. But anyway, as it is our regular class, let's start from the very beginning. So as we discussed, Cucumber is a software tool which is used for testing other software. It runs automated tests written in a behavior-driven development, that is BDD style. So in simple, Cucumber is used to run the automated tests which are written in the BDD style, behavior-driven development style. Okay, so this is the definition. So basically in BDD, it uses a Gherkin language to write the automated test. BDD uses Gherkin language to write the automated test, or to write the test. And Gherkin is a plain simple English language which follows by Gherkin keywords. Cucumber was initially implemented in Ruby and then extended to Java framework. So we have seen this comparison, we already seen that. So you wanted to know more about, anyway, when we write the practical examples, we will come to know. So this is the tests which are written in normal way, and these are the tests which are written in Cucumber fashion. The basic advantage of writing the test in Cucumber is the non-technical people such as clients can able to understand what you are testing. Previously, if you say, I tested everything, it's so difficult for others to understand whether you actually tested everything. But as a tester, you cannot escape now. When you write the test in Cucumber, anyone and everyone can able to understand what you have written, and they can able to tell you these are the things which are missed, you can add it. One can able to read your test cases, one can able to understand, one can able to give you feedback easily. So these are the BD2 tools. Okay, Cucumber, JBehave are basically used for Java, and NBehave and SpecFlow are used for C#. Okay, so do not confuse over NBehave, SpecFlow, and GBehave and Cucumber. Cucumber, JBehave is basically used for for Java, and NBehave and SpecFlow is particularly for C#. These are the Cucumber implementations. So you can write, the Cucumber test will be associated with the code, right? That code can be in Ruby, JRuby, Java, Groovy, JavaScript. Okay, so finally, when you write a Cucumber test in a BDD style, you're supposed to execute them. When you execute them, there is a background code will be executed, right? The background code can be in any of the language. Any questions so far? In another?
Yeah, Sudhir, one question. Why it is called behavior?
So, okay, why it's called behavior? Okay, so first you define the behaviors, right? You take a future, you define the behaviors of the future. The Cucumber feature file, right?
Oh, okay. Yes,
So you define the behaviors of a future file. This is the future. Okay, what is that feature? Login functionality is the future. Okay, you define the behaviors of the futures first.
Okay.
So when you give the valid username and valid password, it should be login. It should allow to login. Okay, that's a behavior of the system, right? You derive the behaviors first, and then you start develop accordingly.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Even developers will use this Cucumber feature file to develop the application. Okay, so they derive the behaviors first. Okay, and according to those behaviors they develop, and then either QA or developer can write the automation test, and then they can execute it to make sure whatever they develop is working.
Okay. So here we write first behavior, then we write the code. Okay. That's
Exactly. We write the behaviors first, and once we write the behaviors, those are not confirmed. Whatever the behaviors you have written, those are not final. Okay, those behaviors will be reviewed by developers, will be reviewed by your peer testing people, your peers, right? Your colleagues will review, your developers will review, and your client also will review and give you the feedback. So this some of the behaviors you have defined is not correct, you change it. Some of the behaviors you have not included, let's include that. You get the complete feedback, and once your Cucumber file is completed with all the scenarios, in other words with all approved scenarios, right, you can start write the automated functionality. You can start implementing the background code.
Thanks.
Yeah, so in another 10-15 minutes I'll be going to show you the practical examples. Okay, so any questions, any other questions before we move on to the next slide? Okay, so let's move on to the advantages of Cucumber. Thank you.
Hey, Sudhir.
Yes.
Just going back to the previous slide. Question on Groovy is a language that will be used on Cucumber, right? But also is Java is there. What language you use exactly for Cucumber?
Yeah, so Cucumber test, see this is a Cucumber test, right?
Right.
For every, so these are called steps. This is a step and this is a step, right? These are the steps.
Right.
For every step there is a associated code. Is that clear?
Okay.
For every step, you need to write the associated code. Otherwise, when you execute this step, what has to be executed? Okay, so the associated code will be executed. That associated code. So for example, open WordPress application, you said, okay, what is associated code? So driver equal to new Firefox driver.get URL. So this is the associated code that will be executed. And this associated code can be in any of the language.
Oh, I see.
As defined, as I defined here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But and when then given is written in Groovy, correct?
It's written in
Groovy, right?
this one, given when these are.
Yeah.
So this is the plain English text, okay, which are written in Gherkin language.
Yeah, okay. That's what I meant. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Clear? Any questions?
Okay, okay. So that's another word is a feature file which is written in the Gherkin and then the code associated with the Java.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Some of the advantages which we might have already covered, but let's go through it once again. So using Cucumber, we can write automated test cases in plain English text that we know already. It acts as a bridge between the business and technical language. Okay, for the business people and for the technical people, it is like a bridge. One can able to easily understand through Cucumber. Cucumber supports different languages like Java, Ruby, Python, .NET, etc. I shouldn't write .NET here because .NET is supported by SpecFlow. Okay. So let's stop it up to here. We'll move on to the actual coding part. So let's create a Java project. No, I'm going to create a Maven project. File new. Maven. Take the Maven project. Go with the default option. com.wordpress.com. So basically you start with your company name. Let's say if you're working for WordPress.com, so you reverse the company name, that is com.wordpress, and you can say Cucumber, not Cucumber. I can say, yeah, that's enough. com.wordpress is enough. And give the project artifact ID is nothing but project name. Okay, so what you can give, WordPress, and it is May 2008. Okay, let me write like this so that I can able to remember. Just say finish. So this is a project which we have created. Okay, if possible, rename this project Cucumber. Okay, let me write like this so that I can able to really differentiate it. So this is the project which we have created. Okay, and this is the pom.xml. So what is the purpose? You can compile your code, you can run your code, you can add all the dependency jars that are required for your project. Okay, so these are the major things that we use that can be used by pom.xml. Okay, so you can do running your test from the pom.xml. That is what I'm expecting. Yeah, you all are close to that. Yeah, fine. Okay, what dependencies that you are looking for? So we are here we are we are doing Cucumber with Selenium, right?
Yes.
So we are going to learning Cucumber with Selenium and Java. Okay, tell me what dependencies which we are looking for.
First Selenium.
First Selenium. Okay, so as I told in previous classes, just type Selenium Maven dependencies.
We also need the Cucumber dependency.
Exactly. We also need Cucumber dependencies. Okay, let's go to Cucumber website. Let's go to Cucumber website to more about that. To know more about that. You can see that there are so many things.
Okay.
Let's go to Cucumber JVM. They change the things a lot. And that's when I know what to be installed. Just trying to show you some important things. Okay. You can see where is that install Cucumber. Create empty Cucumber project. And you're not mentioned the installation of Cucumber. Okay, it's there in the beginning. It's there. Okay. So this is what there are many things that Cucumber supports, but what we need is Cucumber supports iOS also, iOS Cucumberish and something. Okay, there are many things that Cucumber supports, but what we need is Cucumber JVM. Okay, so this is one thing which we need, Cucumber Java plugin. Take this one. Okay, and we have Selenium and we have Cucumber. So let's see what else is required.
Do we need a testng assertion?
Exactly. We need JUnit. This is what I'm looking for actually. Okay. These two jars also we will be needing.
So wait, testng doesn't work with the Cucumber, or?
No, it doesn't work with Cucumber.
Oh, so in that case, we have to use a JUnit.
Okay. So there are some people who tried supporting Cucumber with testng. That is not approved mechanism so far. Okay. the results are not accurate. You see a lot of troubles. Okay, so officially from the Cucumber, it supports only JUnit. Cucumber officially supports JUnit. You can try integrate Cucumber with any other testing framework like TestNG or anything else. Okay, but that is not officially supported by Cucumber. Okay, clear?
So Sudhir, we have to add both JUnit and Cucumber JUnit.
Yes, both are required.
Oh.
Okay, so if you see that we need Selenium and we need Cucumber, right? We are learning Cucumber with Selenium and Java. Cucumber with Selenium and Java. Okay, so we need Selenium and we need Cucumber, and we need to run the Cucumber test. Otherwise, there is no use of writing the test, right? So Cucumber supports JUnit for running their test. Okay, so that's the reason I added JUnit. Okay, and Cucumber JUnit plugin also needed. Okay, Cucumber is required to integrate with is required to communicate with JUnit. So they have an associated dependency, that is Cucumber JUnit. So these 4 dependencies are must. I recommend all of you to just take this slide: Selenium Java dependency, Cucumber Java dependency, JUnit dependency, Cucumber JUnit dependency. Okay. In the interview, they might ask you what are the dependencies that are needed for Cucumber. At least you have to say Selenium Java, Cucumber, Cucumber, and JUnit, Cucumber JUnit. You have to tell like this. Those 4 names, the dependencies needed by Cucumber. Just take those 4 dependency names. Please let me know once you are done.
Yes, Sudhir, it's done.
Okay, thank you. I'll keep some important links and other things here. Some important links for dependencies. Okay, I'll share this link to all of you. So just remember me at the end of the class. I'll share this link, the classes, the document link. Okay, so we created a Cucumber project, and we created we added all the required dependencies. Okay, so let's look at the project. So by default, Cucumber, by default, the Maven project creates some packages, some dummy packages, which we don't need. I'm deleting them. By default, Maven project creates some dummy packages, which we don't need. I'm deleting them. Okay. Still adding the dependency jars. So yeah, please wait for a few minutes.
Hello.
Yeah. So I have deleted all the dummy packages, which are by default added by Maven. So let's look at SRC main Java. SRC main Java is for the developers who wants to write the application code. Okay, so it is not for testers. We don't touch anything on SRC main Java. SRC test Java is basically to keep the test code. Okay, so in the test, SRC main and SRC test. Okay, ignore the main. So don't bother about main. Okay, so never bother about the main folder, which is not for testers. So in the SRC test, I'm going to create one more folder called resources and one more folder futures. Okay, here I'm going to create all the required futures. Take a text file, login.future. And I hope everybody aware of WordPress.com. Okay, in all my trainings, I used to teach this WordPress.com website. Okay, so this is the WordPress.com. For this project, we are going to write the automation test, Cucumber automation test. Okay, so when you click on the login button, you get to see a login page. Here you have to enter your username, click on continue, and here you have to enter your password, click on login. So once you log in, you go to the dashboard page. Okay, so this is the login functionality. Up to here is the login functionality. Now when you click on the profile, this is called profile icon. When you click on the profile icon, you get to see profile page. This is about profile feature. Okay, so login feature and profile feature. So you can enter a lot of details here, and then you can save the profile. So this is about profile functionality or profile feature. Okay, so in my training, I'm going to write two features. One is login.feature and the other one is profile.feature. Okay, every feature has its own set of scenarios. Login feature has its own set of features, its own set of scenarios, and profile feature will have its own set of scenarios. Okay, the feature file should start with a feature keyword. You can say them as keywords. Testing login functionality. Okay, so every feature can have scenarios. Okay, it can have a number of scenarios. It can have a number of scenarios. Okay, so let's say, can somebody tell me some 2 scenarios on the login functionality? Two
Yeah,
scenarios of login functionality. Yeah.
Valid test valid credentials.
Okay.
And invalid credentials.
Okay. Okay. Okay, for example, like this. So when you say invalid credentials, what are those invalid credentials? With invalid username. Okay, clear?
Yes.
We can write many things with the invalid password, with the invalid username and password, or, many things we can write. Let's start with the basic things first. So given is basically for precondition. So what is the precondition? To begin your test, okay, with with valid credentials to begin your test. So what is the precondition?
So what should we open?
Okay, open the browser, right?
So yeah, open the browser
and load the WordPress. Can I say like this?
Yes.
This is the precondition for me.
Yes.
When click on login link, click on login link. When you click on the login link, you get to see a login page is displayed. You can say then login page should be displayed, right? When you click on login link, then login page should be displayed. Okay, so however you like to write, okay, there is no particular way of writing the things. Okay, so as I told, things will be written in very plain English text. Okay, how good you are in writing the statements in English, yeah, you can write that way. So when you click on login link, then login page should be displayed, and once the login page is displayed, when enter username, you can in between write end also. Okay, these are just to make the statements in readable format. Okay, when enter username and click on continue button. Okay, and
we can add and also, Sudeep.
You can add and also, or you can go with when. Okay, that will be more fine. When click on continue button, when click on not enter password. Whenever you are performing an action, you can always add a keyword when. Okay, when enter username, when click on login button, when enter password. Whenever you are making few things you need to remember. Given is given for precondition. Okay, you should not use given for performing the action. So given is basically used for precondition. You can write multiple given also, but generally people go with one particular given. Okay, given is for precondition. When is basically used when you are performing an action. Okay, and then you use to validate something. If you want to validate something, you can use them. Okay, and or these are the two different keywords which can be used, okay, to make the statement readable. Okay, sometimes to combine two statements you might require to use and. Okay, so these are like conjunction words, something like they call, right, conjunction words. So if you want to combine two statements, you can use and or. Okay. It does not add any functionality to your statement. What it does is it makes the test readable. Okay, that's it. I'll go with one scenario first. Okay, so later I'll write other scenarios. Okay, just read it and let me know if any statement is missing. Please read it once again and let me know if any statement is missing.
I think password. Okay. Yeah, it's correct.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Now the question is, if I run this future file, okay, if I run this feature file, how this feature file will be executed, how this scenario will be executed. Have you written any associated code for each of these steps?
No.
Right? So it's just a plain English statements. These are the just plain English statements. And there is no action associated with each of these steps. Agree?
Yes.
Okay. To make it complete, you have to write the associated code for every step. For every step. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So when these are called steps, okay, these are called steps. The associated code is called step definition. Every step has a associated code. It is nothing but, in technically, every code has a step definition. Every code has a corresponding step definition. In the step definition, the code that has to be executed is written. Okay, please take the point. Every step has a associated step definition. Okay, it contains the code that has to be executed for a step. Please take this point, very important. Step and step definition in the Cucumber, you must remember. please take the second point also. If you wonder what is step definition, just a method that contains the code which is required for a step. Okay, so let's move on to the code. So how do we define the step definitions? Okay, so you don't need to worry about defining the step definition. What you have to do is just execute your future file. Right click, run as Cucumber Future. Once again. Do you see any closed project here? Fine. Okay, let's try to run this one. Don't know. So let's leave it. Okay, that's fine. What I'll do is there's some profile that feature has error. Let's keep profile functionality. Make one scenario, some dummy scenario. We'll fill that later. Okay. So we need to run the login feature. Okay, if you want to run the login feature, the easiest way is create a package com.wordpress. Okay, runners. In the runner, test runner, create a call test runner. Okay, so you need to run the Cucumber file. You need to run the Cucumber feature file. Okay, so if you want to run the Cucumber feature file, you can able to run with a test runner. Okay, so we'll fill that test runner. Go to cucumber.io. Okay, that's fine. They don't give the documentation completely. If you see this documentation, there will be lots of lack of content. Okay, so you cannot proceed with this documentation to learn the Cucumber. There will be lot of lack of documentation. Any guess why they do such why they do like that?
No, Sudhir. Why?
So they provide the documentation, okay, but that will be lack of documentation. The reason is, if it is having lack of documentation, then you must look for training, right? When you must look for training, they themselves provide the training for $250 or $300. Okay, so that is why they do. I'll explain this one. Okay, so this is your test runner. Okay, inside this test runner, nothing is there, and nothing will be there also. Okay, so you have to focus here. The features that you want to run. The features that you want to run. In our case, we are planning to run. We are planning to run SRC test resources login feature, right? Okay, and plugin is basically to tell what kind of reports you are looking for. Okay, I'm looking for a pretty report. Pretty report is nothing but console report, a text report. Pretty is nothing but a text report. There are many times people will be telling that, okay, so you get pretty report. Pretty report is nothing but beautiful report. It is nothing but text report. People think that, okay, when somebody say it gives you a pretty report, people think that it gives a beautiful report, but generally pretty is nothing but text report, console report. And you get a HTML format Cucumber report. Okay, there are two types of reports that you are going to get. One is pretty and one is HTML format of Cucumber report, and this is the feature you are planning to run. Okay, so if you want to run multiple feature files, you can separate it by comma and include the feature name here. Okay, so if you want to run, for example, if you want to run profile feature also, you can do like this, comma separated. You give the features that you wanted to execute. For now, I wanted to execute only login feature. I'm going with this.
So Sudhir, this for that, this annotation will come in test runner.
Exactly. So what you have to do, you have to mention it run with.
Always.
Always. You have to mention it run with cucumber.class. You are running the cucumber feature, so you must mention run with cucumber.class, and you have to mention you're running the cucumber feature file, but what is that feature file, what reports you wanted to get. Okay, so that is nothing but cucumber options. In the cucumber options, you need to mention set of properties like this. Exactly. There are many more properties. We'll come to those properties slowly, but these are the two major properties that everybody has to include.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to run. It's a JUnit. You can see that it's a JUnit. Right click, run as JUnit test. It's saying that SRC test resources, the file is not available. Can you please see what's wrong with here? Okay, resources and futures, we have one more folder. Okay, you have to mention the complete path, otherwise you get this kind of problems.
So the spelling mistake is there.
Yeah. Thanks. Right? Yeah, no, I guess it is correct. Okay, perfect. Okay, so in the very beginning, I mentioned you don't need to worry about step definitions. The reason is when you run the Cucumber feature file, okay, it gives you the missing step definitions. The step definitions that are not yet written will be given to you in the console. These are the step definitions that you must include. These are called missing step definitions. Missing step definitions are nothing but for a step, if the step definition is not already available, then you call that as a missing step definitions. So do we have any step definition for these steps so far?
No, we don't have.
Okay, so that means you get all the missing step definitions here. Copy these step definitions, just copy, create a step definition. Step definition is a Java file. Okay, so let's create a new package, com dot wordpress dot step definitions. Okay, new class. So it's a login step definitions. Okay, just add all these things here. Just add all these things here. Okay, and click on this, click on the error and import the missing things. And you don't need the 2 lines of code which is available in the step definition. Just remove that, just make the step definition empty. And import them. Okay, so now for every step which I mentioned here, we have a corresponding step definition, right? If you see, given, open the browser and load the WordPress. If you go to here, given, open the browser and load the WordPress. Okay, when click on login link, then login page should be displayed. So we have all the required step definitions. Okay, if I run the login feature once again, see what happens. So we already have the step definitions written, am I right? But why it is still giving the missing step definition? Any guess? We have copied all these step definitions and we have kept all these step definitions in a class. And we thought for every step, there is a step definition is available, right? For every step, there is a step definition is available. But why it is still giving the step definitions? Why it is still telling the missing step definitions? Any guess?
Implementation is not there?
Not necessary. It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter. Implementation doesn't matter. The reason is, you know the feature file. The Cucumber knows where the feature files. The Cucumber also knows which kind of report you are expecting. But Cucumber does not know where the step definitions are. You have to specify where the step definitions, okay, with the help of another property called glue. Okay, So where it is available? It's available. The step definitions are available in the calm.wordpress.step definitions package. We just mention the package name. That should be enough. Okay. So let's make sure.
So this glue is a annotation, the keyword.
Glue is a property. A property in the Cucumber options.
Oh, in Cucumber options.
Cucumber options is an annotation and run with is an annotation.
Oh, so run with is an annotation of JUnit?
Yes, it's an annotation of JUnit. Now you can say, do you see any missing step definition now? Do you see any missing step definitions? No, because Cucumber knows where is the feature file and where are the corresponding step definitions. Okay. And you can also see the report. This is the report. Okay. All these steps are executed. And I told there is a pretty report. Pretty report is this one only. Okay. One scenario is executed and 8 steps are, one scenario is executed, that is passed. Okay. 8 steps are executed, that is also passed. But right now we have not implemented any code in the step definition. That's why it just executed and everything is passed. Okay. Now we need to implement the code. So open the browser and load the WordPress. So if you want to open the browser and load the WordPress, what code we have to write? You have to define a driver and you have to say driver.get. Am I right? Okay. So we have to implement the code. Any questions so far? Any questions? We write a feature file and we have to write a corresponding step definitions. Step definitions, you can get it by running the feature file. When you run the feature file, it will show you the missing step definitions. Copy them and keep it in a class. And tell the Cucumber where these step definitions are available with the help of a property called glue.
So Sudhir, here one question. In test runner, we write first?
Yeah, we have to write first so that you can able to execute the feature file.
Oh, test runner is, so we will have only one test runner file?
We can have multiple. I'll tell you when do we need multiple test runners, but one should be enough most of the times. There are some people unnecessarily what they do is they write test runner for login test runner, profile test runner. They'll write like that.
Okay.
Okay, that is not actually required. You can do it like this, comma separator.
Okay.
Okay, let's take 5 minutes of break. Okay, we'll meet at 9:10. Now it is 9:03. We'll meet at 9:10 and I'll implement the step definitions. Okay, and I'll take your queries and we can wind up for today. Okay, so let's meet at 9:10, another 7 after 7 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Is everybody there? I hope.
Yes, Sudhir.
Yeah. So let's write the let's write the code. WebDriver. So let's work on Firefox browser. Firefox driver. Open the browser. To load the URL, what is that? Copy the URL. Okay. Click on login link. If you want to click on the login link, first you have to find the element. Find element by dot let's inspect this element. What locator I can use? Can somebody tell me? Can I use ID? Never login link. So if you have ID, you can always go with ID. There is no other thought. Okay. Import the required classes. So you're supposed to click on this, right? Click. Okay. So I also suggest you to have implicit wait. You can give some 30 seconds. Okay. So you need to make sure that login page is displayed. So if you want to make sure that the login page is displayed, okay. So what we can do? So we can make sure that the email is available. If the email address is available, that is nothing but you are in the login page. Okay. So some assertions we have to make. We'll come back to that assertions later. So let's work on enter username. If you want to enter username, again, you have to find the element. Let's inspect the element. What locator I can use? Can I use ID?
Yes, Sudhir.
Yeah, we can use ID. And it's a text field. As it is a text field, you can use send case. Okay, so this is very interesting. If you see this, if you see the Cucumber feature file, I mentioned enter username sudhirkumar.gv@gmail.com. Okay, so this entire email ID sudhirkumar.gv@gmail.com, this entire text will be passed to this particular parameter, and that is what I'm using here. Okay, enter username, and I'm sending a string. What is that string? sudhirkumar.gv@gmail.com. So that particular string will be passed to here, and the same thing I'm using it here.
So how Sudhir, how both are linked, this page and that page?
That is linked.
Oh, okay.
The step definition will know that. So when you make when you have a step like this and some text in the quotation, that is the data that you are passing to the step definition.
Okay.
This is the data that you are passing to the step definition, and the step definition knows that you are passing some data, and that will be stored here. So if you want to pass any data to the step definition, you put the data in the double quotes when you are writing the step. Is that clear? Any questions?
No.
Okay. So if I say like this, if I say that like this, okay, every gmail.com, enter username Rajiv at gmail.com. Okay, you have to write a separate step definitions. Okay, instead of that, if you can keep it in a double quotes, okay, the same step definition you can reuse also when you have a different data to be passed.
Okay, so this is not a hard code. Any
This is
data.
not yes, this is not a hard code. You better not to hard code anything.
Yeah, that's
So if you see this, it has taken enter username only. It has not taken sudhirkumar.gmail.com. Right? It is not mentioned. So
yeah.
it knows as you are passing some data, and that data is given to this particular parameter, and that parameter you can use it here. You can clear the data.
Sudhir?
Yes.
Okay, just going back to that particular part. So whenever you put this in a quotation, like in a feature file, right? You put the Sudhir Kumar, right, .com. So, and referring to the code,
There won't be any parameter like this.
so, okay, I see. All right, cool.
Because we are passing the data, and the data will be given to this parameter, and you can use that parameter value.
Okay.
Okay.
So this data we are passing from somewhere else, or it will take whatever we are passed in feature file. Same data.
From the feature file. From the feature file.
Okay. So we have to come in the feature file and we have to change.
First you define the feature file, right? So you don't define the step definition first. First you define the feature file, and step definitions will be automatically created.
Okay.
So how many data you're passing, those many parameters will be created. So in my feature file, I'm passing only one particular data. So one parameter is created. If you say one more data, it will create one more parameter. Okay.
Okay, one more username you are telling.
Whatever it is, how many data you're passing, those many parameters will be created. Okay, so click on continue button. It has a text. Let's take the text. It does not have any ID or name, so I go with the text. XPath, I have to take the XPath. So what is the XPath? Button at button text equal to button, and it's text equal to continue. And it gives you a web element. Why it is giving error? It's a button, just say click. When it comes to the password, again you can say password. Okay, let's inspect the password. You say click on continue. A password field will be up here, and it has a ID password. Okay, finally you have to click on the login button. Again, it does not have any ID. We have to go with the text. What is the text? So all this Selenium code, I don't think so I have to teach you about this. Find the element and perform the action. Okay, so once you click on the login button, when you enter valid username and password, once you click on the login button, you get to see the dashboard page, right? To make sure we are in the dashboard page, okay, just look for profile icon. Driver dot find element by dot. Okay, does it have any ID? No, it does not have any ID. We go with the XPath. Its tag is image. It has an attribute ELT and whose value is me. Right? Tag is IMG. It has an attribute alt and it has a value ME. So I'm going with this. And it gives you a web element, right? You can say element is displayed. If the element is displayed, that is nothing but you are in the dashboard page. Is displayed, the method is displayed always returns a Boolean value. Now take the assertion, assert true. Take the assertion. Okay, yeah. So this is the message that you want to print when assertion is failed, and this is the result. If the result is true, the assertion will be passed and your test will be passed. If the result is false, the assertion will be failed and your test will be failed. Assert to true, you are looking for true. Okay, so if you are looking for true, if the result is true, then only your test is passed. So we have written all the, okay, we supposed to mention this one also. What we can do is this one. So to make sure that you are in the login page, if the username or email text field is available, that is nothing but you are in the login page. Okay, and copy the same code here. Okay. Done. We have written all the step definition with implementation. Okay, so let's run the code.
Latest Selenium, right, Sudhir? Okay.
Something is wrong because we don't have the Gecko driver. Why it is failed? Let's see. Implicitly wait or implicit wait? That's correct. Okay, it's because of the, as we don't have the latest Gecko driver, we're supposed to mention the Gecko driver, right?
Okay. So in dependency, we have to add that as well, right?
Exactly. Not in the dependency.
We can.
We have to mention the system dot.
Okay, that one system
dot set property. URL is correct, sister. I okay. Yeah. That's correct. I don't think so. It's not the problem with the URL at this moment, at least. Okay, because it is failed at line number 22. Line number 21. Sorry, it is failed at here only. Okay, because we don't have the latest Gecko driver. what we have to do, we have to do a system.set property, and you have to mention WebDriver.gecko.driver and the path of the Gecko driver. Okay, so there is a way to avoid that. Okay, I'll show you that.
Should it?
Yes.
Which version of the Firefox you are using? You know?
I think I might be using the latest version. Let's see anyway.
From about Firefox, yep.
So not very latest. It is 57. The latest, I guess, is 60.
Yeah, 60 something, 60 point something. But you have to go through the file path because it's like Firefox does not default browser that you can open by writing the Firefox. I was struggled through that.
Oh, is it?
Yep. The Firefox works up to the I believe it's version 50. If it's anything, it doesn't work.
Up to 54, it is fine.
Up to 54.
Yeah, up to 54, it is fine. Okay.
Oh, okay. So I have is 50, so that's why just like I was struggling through.
Yeah. It's all about the Gecko driver issue only. I'll show you how we can fix it.
Okay.
I'm taking one more dependency, WebDriver Manager. WebDriver Manager is to avoid the dependency between Gecko driver, because it will take care of things internally.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's sometime when we work with 247 and also that time some compatibilities to come. So that time also we can use this.
Yeah, anything.
Oh.
But you have to make sure that see, you are taking the WebDriver Manager, the latest one version, right? Taking the latest version, so you need to make sure that your browser also latest.
Oh, browser should be latest. Okay.
Latest. But the problem with this thing is, see, when we want to pass some parameters, okay, we'll see how we can deal this. Okay.
There is a syntax issue on line 12.
One second. I haven't tried this before. I saw somebody is using it. Okay. Yeah, I got it. This is to just avoid. Okay, the system.set property, but you're supposed to use this one. This you have to use. You cannot avoid this one. Okay. So instead of using system.set property, webdriver.gecko.driver and downloading the Gecko driver, giving the path of it, right? So
Yes.
to do all those stuff, okay, you can simply write this statement. That's enough.
And
It
so
will.
we have one question
Hmm.
that we are not downloading any driver here. Okay, everything will be managed.
No need to download any driver.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the easy of WebDriver manager. See, it is downloading. Do you see that? It is automatically downloading.
Every time it will download.
I don't think so. It will download every time. If
Okay.
it download every time, it is a performance hit, right?
Yes, yes.
Maybe it will download once and it look for the same path every time.
Okay.
No, it is downloading. It will take some time. For the first time, maybe it will take some time. So every time you run, it is downloading. Definitely, it is a performance hit, and nobody is going to prefer it, right? So it will download for the first time and it will keep it somewhere, and next time onwards, it will not download. You can see that. Can you see that? It is keeping. I'll show you that. Let's see. It is executing first. It is not entering the password. Okay. It got failed. Okay, we'll fix that one. If you see this one, it is downloading the Gecko driver. Do you see that? It is downloading the Gecko driver. And then it is extracting the Gecko driver. Whatever it is downloaded, it is extracting the Gecko driver and then exporting. Okay, whatever is extracted, it is keeping it in the Maven project, Maven repository. .m2 repository, WebDriver, Gecko driver, macOS 0.20.1 Gecko driver. It is keeping it in the Maven repository so that you don't need to download again and again. Okay.
So how it will know that it is okay, because it is the latest Selenium, so automatically it will do the Gecko only. Okay.
Exactly. It do Gecko because you are mentioning Firefox.
Okay.
If you do Chrome, it will download the Chrome driver.
Okay. Okay. So we can do with the Chrome also. Just I need to change Chrome here. That's it.
Just you have to change the Firefox to Chrome.
Okay.
This is very easy. Okay, you don't need to specify system.set variable set property. You don't need to specify system.set property. And the problem with that is every time the new version of browser changes, you have to download the new Gecko driver. Okay, you have to maintain all those Gecko driver in your local repository. Sometimes you feel a lot of mismatch and other stuff. Okay, so coming to our error, let me add some thread.sleep here. Or we can also maintain. For now, let's add thread.sleep.
Oh, because of wait only, yeah, it was, I think, might be failing.
Because of wait on it is failing. So what it is telling is invalid element state exception. So here the problem is, see, you enter the username, right? And click on continue. You enter the login, click on the login, and then you enter okay, and you click on continue. And the password field is taking some time to display. The password is not available immediately. It is taking some time to display. So that's the reason it is failing. So I given some sleep. I hope it will work now. Let's run 1 second and make sure. And also see, it is downloading the Gecko driver again. So previously it has downloaded the Gecko driver. Now let's see whether it is downloading the Gecko driver. It is not downloading.
Yeah.
You see, it is not downloading.
Yes.
Using instead of downloading, using the binary previously downloaded. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Correct. I think we are not quitting because of that.
Fine. It is executed. The test is successful. And if you want to see the report, you can see the report in the console. One scenario is executed, 8 steps are passed. Okay. And you can also see the report from the target Cucumber index.html. Okay, you can see the test is passed.
Oh, it will show like this, sir? Means it will
Like
not
this.
show like test engine, how much time it took and all.
No, it will show like this only. There are many other ways of making the report more beautiful. We have to add custom reports. I'll come to that point going forward. Okay. So there are more ways of. There is one more way of making the report more beautiful. Okay. So I'll show you that one also. Not right away. Going forward. Okay. Any questions so far? In writing the Cucumber feature file, in writing the step definition, in executing the Cucumber feature file. Okay. Any questions?
Actually, one question. So,
okay, before I take all of your questions, okay. So let me, yeah, Raju, just 2 minutes.
yeah, no.
Now summarize what we supposed to write. Okay, we have to write one feature file. What feature file contains?
Given, when, and that.
That's it.
Scenarios and
contains scenarios. That scenario contains what scenarios contains? Akraman, you are telling something.
Yeah, when.
It contains steps. Right?
Okay, so yeah, and yes, those are the steps, right?
The steps will have, as you told, given, when, all these statements. Okay, clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so every scenario should have corresponding
definition.
What is called? Step definition.
Step definition.
Okay, so what is nothing but step definition? What step definition contains?
Step definition is a method.
It's a method that contains
that interact to the feature file.
The associative code for a particular step. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh yeah, correct.
Is this clear up to this point? Okay. Any questions up to here? I'll come back to other things one by one. Up to here, any questions? But how do we get the step definitions? That let's discuss that one also. To get step definitions, what do we do?
Using test runner, we have to run.
We run the feature file from the test runner. Clear?
Okay, yes. We are running feature file. Okay, yeah, correct.
Okay. Test runner is a class used for running Cucumber feature file. Okay, we specify the properties. What are the properties we specify? Future and plugin and glue. The property feature specifies what feature you want to execute. The plugin specify what report you want to get, and the glue specify where are the step definitions.
Okay.
So this is what we discussed today. Login feature, associated step definition, right? To run the login feature. Any questions? So let me know if you have any questions.
I think so. When we have suppose multiple scenarios in same feature, we can separate it with comma. We can add, right?
Yes, yes, I'll show you that also. Yes, that's correct. Now I iterated one more scenario, test with invalid credentials. Okay, so click open the browser and load the WordPress. See, as long as can you tell me, can some of you tell me what is the difference between this line and this line, or both are same?
Yeah, same it is.
Just try to observe one more time closely. Tell me if there is any difference in the line number 5 and 16. Any capital, smalls, small letters, capital letters, space, extra space. Okay, do you see any difference?
There's no difference.
Okay, yeah, there is no difference. As long as there is no difference between the steps, it will use the same step definition.
Okay.
Like
The line number 5 and line number 16, both the steps having the same associated step definition. Clear?
Yeah.
If you make any one letter is different, either by making it as small letter or capital letter, I don't know. Okay, if you make any small difference, it is a case sensitive. If you make it as a small letter, capital letter also, it is a difference. If you add any extra space also, it's a difference. Okay, so for example, if I say open the browser and open the browser, okay, and load the browser, open the browser, comma, load the browser, load the WordPress. Do you think 5 and 16 are same now?
nope.
Okay, so that means it will create a new step definition for you. I'll show you that. Okay, so I recommend, as long as as much as possible, you try to reuse the words, reuse the statements, so that you avoid unnecessary duplicate code. If you make it comma, it gives you a another step definition. You add the step definition, right? And this step definition, the step definition for this particular step and the step definition for this particular step, having the same code, will have the same code. Unnecessarily you will duplicate it. So my suggestion is, as much as possible, reuse the steps to avoid unnecessarily duplicate code. Clear? Any questions?
Okay, question. Now I have a question. Since you create the positive scenario and the negative scenario, right, which is contains the same syntax, same format, right? So, for instance, one of the scenario that covers, if you can go back, like
step you are asking about?
Yeah, If you're like going back to, let's say, for example, number 5, 6, 7, 8 is the same, right? And it repeats the same step is 16, 17, 18, right? So which is at those step that will be repeating, right? The code. But for instance, now since we are doing the negative testing, and then for instance is 19 and 20, this step get changed. So how does that
after 20 it will change?
Or from there they will take the different code, the code that I will be implementing, right?
Then login should be failure. Then it should username error message should appear. Okay, the username I given invalid, so username error message should appear.
Okay,
it's a different step. I have, it's a missing step, I have to write it.
Okay. So at that time the new method that you need to implement it, correct?
Exactly, we have to implement the new method.
So in that case, when we run the feature file to test runner, so for all it will generate the step definition, or only for the different one?
Whatever it is already there, it will not generate.
Oh, same one it will skip.
It will skip. It will skip in the sense it will execute. Now it has a step, right? This is a step. It has a step definition code. It will execute that.
Okay.
So sorry. So in the login page that where you create the method, so I don't have to repeat any sort of the code reusable purpose at that particular step, correct?
So without running also we can write, Sudhir?
Hello.
Sudhir, I think he's in mute.
I think so.
We can chat, no? I think we can post it.
Hello.
Oh,
Okay.
Am I audible?
So
yeah.
we
Okay.
weren't able to hear you.
Oh,
if you
okay,
were saying
okay.
anything.
So there are two ways of writing the step definition. One is manually, you can write like this. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. So the keyword is at then. You can see that the keyword is then. Okay. And the step is username error message should be appear. Okay, should appear. This is a step. And the same step you can use it here in the method name. As the method name does not contain spaces, you add the underscore in between. Is that clear?
Okay.
This is one way of writing this is the one way of writing the step definition manually. The other way is you run it and get the missing step definition and add it.
Oh, so automatically it will create the definition.
It will create the missing step definition. You can add it. But the challenge is, if you want to get the missing step definition, okay, let me copy this to the notepad. If you want to get the missing step definition, you have to run the code. You have to run the code. When you run the code, how many scenarios are there? Two scenarios. Okay, this scenario will be executed, and then it will come to the next scenario. It will execute all these steps. Okay, at the end, it cannot find this particular step definition. It will tell you the missing step definition. So you have to wait so much time to get the missing step definition. Let's look at this. You have to wait so much time to get the missing step definition, because the missing step definition is there in the second scenario at the last statement. So you have to wait until then.
Oh, it will execute first scenario. Okay.
It will execute first scenario. When it is executing the first scenario, it has all the step definition. It will execute all the step definitions.
But for second scenario, it's not there. Then it will.
For second scenario also, there are steps which are available.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, only at the last step that is not available, and at the last minute only you will get the missing step definition. See, now you will get missing step definition. This is the missing step definition. You have to wait so much time to get this step definition.
So where it is? Okay, console. Can you just show
the console?
You can implement missing steps with. Okay, so we have to copy from here to you. Okay.
Okay. So if you have so much patience to wait so long, you can run it and get the step definition. Otherwise, you can manually create it. It's up to you. Or what you can do is that clear up to here? Before I move on to other stuff.
Yeah.
There are two ways of creating the step definition. One is manually you create. Second one, run the feature file and get the missing step definition and add it. There are two approaches.
And always method name will be underscore. That is compulsory, right? This one.
Not necessarily to be underscore.
Oh, okay.
We give underscore because method name should not contain spaces. So we have to combine that, the space, right? So we use underscore. You can use, if not underscore, you can use any other, symbol or whatever it is.
No problem.
Okay. Just to avoid the space, extra space, we are using underscore.
Okay.
What is the XPath we have created, right? Okay, so let's run the code once again. I'm not closing the browser, if you see. So that means that step, that particular step I'm missing. I have to, write one more step to close the browser. We'll do that.
Or in every scenario.
Yeah, otherwise unnecessarily you open the browsers. If you have 5 scenarios, you open 5 Firefox browsers. That's better to be closed for every scenario.
One thing I observed here, Sudhir, that entering username, it is taking whatever we are passing. So that is yeah.
Whatever we are passing.
Okay.
It does not have intelligence to take its own thing. So we must have to pass.
So okay, we are passing in second scenario, no? In the feature file.
If it is required, we have to pass. In the second scenario, we are not passing because it is failing at the continue only. It is failing at the username only. You can see that. I entered the username, invalid username, and I clicked on the continue. It has not gone to the password. If the given username is valid, then only it will show the password.
Okay.
Okay. There are 2 scenarios, 14 steps. The 2 scenarios are passed and 14 steps are also passed. Okay. You can see the report here. There is a future. There are 2 scenarios. Both are passed. Okay. You can also see the console output. 2 scenarios, 14 steps passed. Okay. If you want, you can also refresh the project and go to the target, open the index.html. Okay. 2 scenarios, both are passed. Okay.
No, it will not show like pass. Okay, color wise we have to.
No, Cucumber report will be like this only.
Oh.
We'll have one more mechanism to improve the report. I'll show you that going forward.
Sure. No.
Any questions so far? In the next class, I'll show you adding the closing of the browser, which is missing today, and I'll write one more feature file profile. Okay, and we'll implement the combination of driver code. Keeping the driver code out of all the step definitions and trying to implement the page object model. Okay, Cucumber also we use page object model. I'll show you that how to use the page object model. If time there, I'll show you a data driven concept. Okay, but let's see
that okay, for passing multiple data.
Exactly. Passing, executing the test multiple times with a different set of data.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let's leave about tomorrow's class. But today's class, any questions?
No, it's fine, Sudhir.
Okay, so this is a link. You can find some of the notes which I mentioned here. I'm keeping in the chat box. Please take it from the chat box.
Okay, this link. Okay, it will be. I can also open. Everyone we can open.
Anyone can. Okay, I think I should. Yeah, just try it out. Anyone can open it. Just try it out, Rajiv or anyone. Will you able to open? At the end, you can see your class notes.
Only in the What I will I will type classes. That's it.
Just copy the link.
Okay.
Any questions before I leave?
Can you share it in the Google? The Google email or the link?
I recommend you can take it from this one, from the chat box. Can you able to copy, Vikram?
Yeah, it's not opening. 1 second, Sudhir.
It is not opening. Let me share then.
Yeah, 1 second. I tried in Edge. Now I'm opening in Chrome browser.
No, don't worry. Leave that one. Copy the second one. I send the link. I send the second time. Copy that one. Yeah, the code I'll be sharing you. Okay, the code I'll be sharing you. I request and recommend go through the video and create the same thing what I have done.
Yeah, and so the code also through Google Drive you are sharing.
I'll be sharing it. I'll share at the end of the tutor training another, maybe after 1 or 2 weeks. Okay, but for now I request and recommend you to create the same thing what I have done. Go through the video and try to create the same thing.
Wait a minute, I cannot hold on.
Yeah, I think link is I'm also unable to open.
Yeah, having a difficulties.
Yeah, so it's saying some we can't reach this page. Maybe some sharing is required actually.
I'll copy in the WhatsApp. Okay, I'll share it from the WhatsApp. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
no
Okay?
problem.
Fine. Thanks
Okay.
everyone.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow at the same time, 8 p.m. IST. Okay, the same time, regular time. Please come up with questions if you have anything, and we'll go with the next set of topics. Very interesting and important topics. So by tomorrow, you could able to get most of the Cucumber related stuff.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, Kamal. Bye, sister. Bye, Archana, Raja.